Hello, I'm Tyler Smith, the Acting Inspector General at the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the FDIC. I'm pleased to announce our annual report identifying the top management and performance challenges facing the FDIC. The purpose of this document is to summarize the most serious challenges at the agency and briefly assess its progress in addressing them. The FDIC plays a unique and vital role in support of the U.S. financial system. It insures approximately $10 trillion in bank deposits at over 4,700 banks, supervises and examines more than 3,200 banks, oversees more than $125 billion in the Deposit Insurance Fund, known as the DIF, and that protects the customer deposit accounts and resolves failing and failed banks. Our top challenges document is based on the experiences and observations that we have gained from our oversight work, reports by other oversight bodies, review of academic and relevant literature, perspectives from government agencies and officials, and information from private sector entities. This year, we identified 9 top challenges facing the FDIC, and our report incorporates and consolidates discussions of the risks identified in prior years and updates our assessment with respect to current conditions and circumstances. The challenges identifies risks to the FDIC mission-critical activities and to FDIC internal programs and processes that support mission execution. Importantly, we use our assessment as we plan our audit, evaluation, and to some extent our investigative coverage in the coming year. Joining me here today to discuss these challenges is Terry Gibson, our Assistant Inspector General for Audits, Evaluations, and Cyber.
Thank you, Tyler. The 9 challenges that we identified fall in 2 general categories: those that look external to the FDIC and those centered on internal FDIC operations. The first externally focused challenge is preparing for crises in the banking sector. The FDIC faces challenges to fully develop its plans to respond to an unfolding crisis, including exercising the orderly liquidation of systemically important entities. The FDIC should also be prepared to address banks' climate-related risks, including how these risks may affect the FDIC's supervisory activities. As well, the FDIC needs to be agile to respond to evolving risks such as fraud in crises-related government-guaranteed loan programs and the evasion of U.S.-imposed economic and trade sanctions. The second challenge is mitigating cybersecurity risks at banks and third parties. The FDIC faces challenges to ensure that examiners have the skill sets and knowledge to conduct information technology examinations that adequately identify and mitigate cybersecurity risks at banks and their third-party service providers, or TSPs. Further, the FDIC needs to have effective processes for the intake of banks' cybersecurity incident reports and use these reports to mitigate risks, identify trends and patterns of nefarious activity, and adjust supervisory processes. Importantly, a cyber incident at one bank or TSP has the potential to cause contagion within the financial sector. A third and new challenge, driven by external events, relates to digital assets, and more specifically, supervising the risks posed by digital assets. The FDIC should work with the other financial regulators to provide clarity regarding the regulation of digital assets. FDIC examiners need appropriate skill sets and examination processes to assess the safety and soundness of banks' digital asset activities and to identify consumer risks, including the relationship of deposit insurance and digital assets. Fostering financial inclusion for underserved communities is the fourth externally focused challenge area. It is a challenge for the FDIC to convert information gleaned from the study of unbanked individuals into effective actions that banks can take to increase access to the financial system. Examiners also need to assess the effect of artificial intelligence, or AI, in decision-making by banks. AI can increase the speed and reduce the cost of bank operations, but it can also result in biases against certain individuals if the algorithms or data used for these decisions are flawed. Turning now to the internal operations of the FDIC. Fortifying IT security is a key challenge for the agency. The FDIC needs to ensure that it has strong information security processes to guard against persistent and increasing cyber threats against federal agencies. Security control weaknesses of FDIC systems can place the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of FDIC systems and data at risk. The FDIC also needs a robust personnel security and suitability program and privacy controls to safeguard IT access to sensitive information and guard against insider threats. Managing changes in the FDIC workforce is a top challenge area again this year. A total of 21% of the FDIC workforce was eligible to retire in 2022. And that figure climbs to 38% within 5 years or by 2027. These retirements may have a significant impact on key divisions and subject matter experts in important areas. The FDIC may lose valuable knowledge and leadership skill sets upon the departure of experienced examiners, managers, and executives. Another internally focused challenge relates to improving the FDIC's collection, analysis, and use of data. The FDIC should establish processes to acquire, analyze, and disseminate threat information from government partners, databases, and repositories. Such information informs senior FDIC leadership and decision makers, FDIC examiners and regional personnel, and banks. Improving the reliability of its internal data will also help ensure that the FDIC board and senior management can confidently use the data to assess program effectiveness. Strengthening FDIC contracting and supply chain management continues to pose challenges to the FDIC. Over a 5-year period, the FDIC awarded more than 2,600 contracts valued at $2.85 billion. An effective contract management program is critical to ensure that the FDIC receives goods and services according to contract terms and within established prices and timeframes. The FDIC should also have programs in place to mitigate security risks associated with the supply chains for contracted goods and services. Further, the whistleblower provisions within FDIC contracts should be in place to protect contractor personnel who report allegations of contractor violations and gross mismanagement. Lastly, implementing effective governance at the FDIC is fundamental to the agency's continued success in meeting its mission. The FDIC should ensure that risks to the FDIC are identified and monitored through an effective enterprise risk management program. The FDIC should also ensure that OIG-identified program weaknesses are promptly resolved and remediated. FDIC program performance should be measured using outcome measures to assess whether the FDIC is meeting its strategic objectives. Finally, the FDIC should clarify its implementation of executive branch best practices, ensure the validity of its rulemaking process, and promulgate rules based on rigorous cost-benefit analyses. Back to you, Tyler.
Thank you, Terry. We believe that our research and analysis in the Management Challenges document is beneficial and constructive for policymakers, including the FDIC board and officials, as well as congressional oversight bodies. We further hope that it's informative for the American people to learn about the programs and operations here at the FDIC and the challenges that the agency faces. To find out more about these challenges and our other oversight work, please visit our website at fdicoig.gov. And you can also follow us at Twitter at FDIC_OIG. And remember, if you suspect fraud, waste, abuse, or mismanagement in FDIC programs and operations, or at FDIC regulated or insured banks, please contact our hotline at the same website and click on the red box in the upper right-hand corner. Thank you again for joining us today.